Okay, I'm here with a good friend and the author of a bill. What's your name?
Beverly Setmour.
Hey, share a little bit about what motivated you to draft this and who it will help and how it will help, so that our public understands a little bit better than some of us can explain.
Well, James, Candace, Hudson, and I just left the Wright building. We met with officials there, and our bill is going to be in a final draft soon and introduced, and we'll have a bill number for it. It is a bill to revise the parole board structure in the state of Ohio and the procedures used for a prisoner to get parole, and also the procedures for release, so that the person, when he is released, he or she is released, they have a chance to actually succeed, and they can have some help with their paperwork and their housing and help finding a job and help finding medical care out of prison. The structure won't be affected, but we have asked for a prisoner advocate to be seated on the board along with the victim advocate, so it balances the board's view during a parole board hearing.
Hey, what's the reasons they can deny parole?
In the bill, if they have properly behaved themselves and not committed another crime and been convicted of it while in prison, they should be paroled. If a professional psychiatrist finds that they are so mentally ill that they are a danger to society, and that mental illness is not something that can be treated in the free world, and they would still be a danger to society, that would be the major reason that they could be denied parole.
The juvenile section is very important to some of our board members and other people. Share a little bit of how that will help our people that was convicted as juveniles and has been down for years.
We're asking for them to enact a law that would require mandatory release for anyone who has been convicted as a juvenile and has a life sentence and has already served their time and yet been denied parole. They basically served their entire adult life in prison and never been given a chance at freedom. And we're asking for an immediate review of those cases by the board.
Right. So we just met with our sponsor, and
Yes.
it's going to be it's right now being drafted up. They should get it within a week or so.
Yes.
Then the legislative aid will send it down to the Criminal Justice Committee.
Yes.
And it will get a bill number before that, though. It will be a House bill number.
Yes.
So as a process, this could be, as they said, this could be a Christmas tree bill, passed around December. But our goal is, and we found out that they don't have to reintroduce it next year. It would be, I think, 221, I think, the year of 21. But our goal is still to get it passed this year.
Yes, and we want people who have loved ones who are incarcerated. We will be sending out information on the process and the procedure and where the bill stands. We will want them to contact their House of Representatives member from Ohio and urge them to act upon this bill. If it's completed, it could and there was enough support for it, it could conceivably be introduced and voted upon this year.
And she said after it gets into the committee,
Yes.
and it would be I think the Criminal Justice Committee in
Yes.
the House, and in the Senate when it gets there, it would be the Judiciary Committee, which Senator
Right.
Eklund chairs, and I think Don Manning chairs the Criminal Justice Committee. I know he sits on there though. So.
Right, and we do plan to attend the committee meetings to endorse and answer any questions in both the House and the Senate on behalf of this bill.
Right. So this has been a hard, long fight.
Yes, it has.
9 years I've been out.
Oh, it's not done yet.
Yeah, we've been working on this.
Yes.
You worked with Ray Miller on
Yes.
a bill several years ago.
Yes, we did.
And this is the closest and the most hope we've ever had
Yes.
with something actually passing, because today's the time to really get it done. And all the money that was saved.
Well, I think that the nation is awakening to the fact that Ohio has the highest proportion of incarcerated people in proportion to its population of any state in the Union, and the United States has the highest proportion of its people incarcerated of any state in the Western civilized world. So you're looking at a figure and a reality of over-incarceration in this state. And a lot of that is attributed to the fact that there has been no way for these people often to get out of prison other than the parole. There has been no remedy for them. We have also provided something that does not exist. We provided in the bill an appeal process. If they are denied a parole, we have included that so that they can mount an appeal directly to the parole board or in the Court of Common Pleas of Franklin County.
Also, we had them put something in that we do not want live streaming, but
Right.
they can videotape it if
Right.
all parties agree upon. No, they will have to videotape it, but for it to be released to the public or the media, all parties involved
Right.
would have to approve it. If one says no, then it would never get to the media
Right.
or to the public.
We've had many reports of inadequate interviews, of all of the evidence of rehabilitation and education and reform not being considered, not being discussed, not being acted on, and of interviews that basically were a retrial of a crime that was committed maybe 25, 30 years ago. And so we have included in that some guidelines and some mandates for the parole board to follow to give a fair and just hearing to everyone.
Can people email you directly if they had a question, or should
Sure.
they email? Okay, what's your email?
Sure, Beverly A. Seymour, Seymour @yahoo.com, and that's Beverly Beverly A. Seymour at Yahoo.
And she would be the best person to ask her questions. You could talk to any Beverly, myself, or Candace Hudson on the progress. But at this point, without the state rep's permission, we're not going to give out his name. Our only goal right now is passage of this bill.
Absolutely.
So
And we want
we-
to bring as much pressure to bear, as much support. Bills are passed because people support them and want them. It's time for parole reform in Ohio.
And now, sooner or later, his name will come out either through a press release or as a sponsor, which he is already the sponsor. They have not decided if they're going to use co-sponsors at this time, but I assume they probably will.
They can always join later once
Right.
they've read it and their constituents agree and support it.
Well, Beverly's got to go home. This was filmed yesterday. Thank you.
Bye.